Hey there crew, it's Mark from Mark Your Pages, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to make really quick and easy envelopes out of vellum or collage paper that you can put right inside of your bullet journal as extra storage or to create a really cool and interesting looking collection page. I have a lot of this collage paper from previous boxes. These both just happen to be from previous special boxes that we had for October around Halloween. This one here had some really beautiful foiled vellum paper, and then this past one we had a little bit more like cardstock paper here. And what I'm excited about this is I'm going to show you how to do this with different types of materials because you may not always have this paper around the house. Also, the vellum paper is a little bit trickier to work with because it is a little bit more stiffer and not as forgiving necessarily as paper. But if you don't have either of these currently in your stash, I'm sure somewhere you have some wrapping paper. It's just so fun to do. If you have any type of wrapping paper that you've just loved and you want to make a little like gift tag for it or put a little envelope, this is going to work out just perfectly for us. Now, if you don't have any of these materials at home, you can actually use the free printable that came as a part of this video and the blog. You can go ahead and print that out and work with that, and it's going to just give you a template to work with, and then you can go out and grab the materials that you want, bring it back, and create some really cool and exciting envelopes. So along with the paper, you're also going to need a ruler. We're going to be doing a lot of easy math today. I'll explain what that means in just a minute. We also need a small pair of scissors, and we're going to need a pencil. And the last thing that you're going to need is some type of double stick tape. Whether it comes as a part of one of these dispensers already or you have some on a roll, you can also use glue if you want as well. It just takes a little bit longer to dry and to stick, but these are the materials that we're going to use today. What I love about the collage paper that we already have is that it's ready to go from a size perspective. It's already in a rectangular size, and that's what we're going to want for all of these different sizes pieces of paper. Now, you can certainly experiment. You want to try a big square piece or a really big, huge rectangle to make a big envelope. You absolutely can, but I love just taking these out of the package because I haven't had a use for them really. I don't know how to really use collage paper in my bullet journal because I don't really do that type of planning. So this is a great way to like use the materials that we have. So for the first part, what you're going to need is one of your pieces of paper, your pencil, and your ruler. And what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and just quickly measure how wide this is. Now, earlier I said I like easy math, and what that means is this isn't exactly 7 inches, but it's pretty darn close. And for me, easy math means I can just go ahead and mark that at 3.5 inches, and I'm good to go. We just want to find our center to begin with. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to take the right-hand side of our paper, and we're going to fold that over to meet our center mark. And then we're going to go ahead and put a crease in the side. On the left-hand side, we're going to go ahead and meet up in the center, but we're going to give ourselves a little bit of extra space. Now, this is where we're going to use our double-side tape underneath it here. So if you want to be a little bit more precise about what you're going to need, you can always measure this over here real quick. That's going to be about 1/2 inch of space. And then that way you can just make sure that you have 1/2 inch of space that's overlapping the center here. We're going to go ahead and open up our piece of paper now, and we're going to turn it to the side. I like to keep this marked just to remember that this is the top of our envelope. Now what we're going to do is we're going to need to cut the bottom. And what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and we're just going to mark out 1/2 inch at the top and then 1/2 inch here at the bottom. And then we're going to go ahead and just line those up to make sure it's nice and straight. And we're going to go ahead and just draw a pencil line across our page. All right, now for the crafty stuff. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and cut across this crease here on the top of this page, and then we're going to go ahead and then cut across our pencil line that we just made. And then we're going to go ahead and do the same thing over on the other side. We're going to cut up the crease, and then we're just going to go ahead and cut across that piece. Now you should be left with this shape. We've got our two sides here with an elongated piece here. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just add an angle. We're going to snip off the corner of each side of this extra long piece. You don't have to erase this pencil line on any type of non-transparent paper. However, when we do this with the vellum, you'll be able to see those pencil lines, so you'll want to go a little bit lighter and erase. But now that we have it, let's go ahead and put our first envelope together. You're going to want to have your double stick tape handy as we do this. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to lay down our first side here. This is going to be the side that meets right in the center. We're going to take our double-sided tape and we're going to run it all the way down that piece there. Then we're going to take our overlapping piece and we're going to go ahead and stick it. So everything should be looking good. And then the last thing we have to do here is we just have to stick our bottom to the top here. Fold that over with that double stick tape. Give it a nice firm press. And then we have ourselves an envelope here that we can use. It's not going to fall apart and it's going to be perfect. I love to create these because I always have like the extra stickers from subscription boxes and I don't quite know what to do with them. So putting them inside of an envelope like this is super great and easy to do. If you want to secure it, all you have to do is just fold down, grab yourself a piece of washi tape if you want. That way you can continue to open and close it if you want to. And then now your envelope is nice and secure. Let's go ahead with this process again, except we're going to do this with the vellum paper. The really important part is make sure that the shiny part of this paper is on the outside. We're really just working on the inside here. So let's go through that step again real quick. We're going to go ahead and measure across this page. So we are at 8.5 inches across, which means that we need to be at 4.25. Again, super easy math. If you like to work in centimeters and millimeters, do your thing. Because this is vellum, we do have to be a little bit more careful about this because you'll see that when we fold this in, it's going to show a very, very visible crease because of the material. So we want to make sure that we're all lined up here, feeling good. And then we're going to go ahead and press down on the vellum. And like I said, it's a very visible line when you're working with this type of material, so just be careful. You also want to make sure that you're not over folding this because of this material. Sometimes it can start to rip or break a little bit because it's kind of like plastic really. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to line it up and we're going to go ahead and just move that over a little bit. And we're going to press down. All right, we're going to open ourselves up. Let's go ahead and we're just going to do the real quick measurement over here again. We just need to get 2 marks for 1/2 inch. For this one, since we are using the vellum, I'm not going to draw across the center line. I mean, what I also love about the vellum is it kind of gives you that line there. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw it straight to that line, and then I'm going to start my line from here. So this is what your paper should look like now. You should be able to see the pencil marks on the sides here, but we're not going to have anything in the center there because we don't want it to show through. So let's go ahead real quick. We're going to go ahead and just snip off the left and the right hand sides. Once we have our shape, then we're going to go ahead and snip off the edges on each side. We're going to lay down the right side first, put down our double stick tape, go ahead and glue down the left, and go ahead and glue down the bottom. And there we go with a absolutely beautiful and stunning envelope we can put right into the back of our notebook. Now that we know how to make these really cool envelopes for ourselves, we're going to make a bullet journal collection page out of some envelopes. So what we're going to need for this is going to be our bullet journal. I've gone ahead and taken some grid paper and just turned these into smaller sized envelopes that are going to fit inside of this. This is a B5 size journal, so I was able to make them just a little bit bigger. You're going to adjust as you need to inside of your own journal. I've also taken this notepad, which came from one of the previous subscription boxes, and I've gone ahead and just taken out 2 pages and cut them in half because I want to use the top of these for a headline. Now, some people will do letters to yourself where you create envelopes and you open them over the next few years. I like to work in a little bit of a smaller condensed space for myself. We're going to go ahead and set this 6 months out from when it is. So for right now, we're going to go ahead and set this up for the end of the year. And then we're going to set this up for the middle of the following year. And then we'll go ahead and have one for the end/beginning of the year and then 6 months later from there. So in theory, we're going to be creating notes for ourselves over the next 2 years, really. Now, earlier you heard me talk about easy math. So all I did to figure out the spacing for this one is I lined up my envelopes on the page. I made sure that these fit inside of here with a little bit of room between each of those. So I know about where they're going to be. I've marked them with pencil on here so I can easily just pop them on there. Let's get our envelopes in here first, and then we'll go ahead and start creating our notes to ourselves. Next part of this, I'm going to go ahead and start adding the headers to my different parts of this. So I'm going to add a notes to self across the side here, and then I'll go ahead and mark each one of my envelopes. We'll create the timelines and the headers here, and then I'll be writing personal notes to myself on the back ends of here, which are only for my eyes. All right, so I've gone ahead and created my 4 notes to myself, and I've written personal notes on the backs of each of these for me. Now, depending on the year in which you're doing it, it might be helpful to put that in here, but we're gonna go ahead and slip each of these pieces of paper in here for December, for the end of this year, July, which will be mid-year, And we'll be doing another end of year and then mid-year. I'd love to hear from you down in the comments if you found this to be fun. Once you start making these envelopes, you're not going to be able to stop yourself. I'm telling you right now, I've got them all over the place, but I'm really excited to be able to show you a few different ways that you can use them, whether it's inside of your bullet journal or outside of your bullet journal, using the stationery that you already have. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and I'll talk to you all next time. See ya.